everyone, I'm Sloan from SloanBella.com, and I am back with another energetically channeled celebrity video. Now, this particular video is completely unusual in the way that the frequency allows itself to tether to my frame of reference here when I'm trying to figure out what happened on a vibrational level. So coming from the astral level, every time I would grab onto a thought, this is the best way I could describe it, it's grab onto a thought in order to try to follow it to see what was being shown, that thought would morph into something different and take me in a 180 degree, completely different direction, and then twist it back 40 degrees and throw it up front. So every single time I'm focusing on it, I'm being given multiple different scenarios that are colliding at one time. So it took me a while to kind of figure what that was, and I wrote a lot of notes, and I looked at the astrology chart for this young man who passed away on September 11th of 2025, and his name is YuMengLong, and he was a 37-year-old very famous actor who died in Beijing after apparently drinking too much, consuming too much alcohol, and accidentally falling out a window. This is the public narrative that's been presented. So of course, I looked this young man's chart up and it's online. That's suspicious because a lot of times I have to dig and dig and dig, but this chart's on there. So his level of fame must be very, very, very big because they bothered to put his chart up here. And there's some American celebrities that we consider to be really huge celebrities that they don't have a chart for. So I started to look at his chart and I was immediately thrown from focusing on that to an image. So I'm going to tell you the first image that I got. The first image that I got when asking what happened to this young man, what happened? I saw immediately a big laundry bag with the string that you pull, like you drag it out of the car, but it closes with a string, you know, the cloth laundry bags when you're going to the laundromat, if you've had the misfortune of doing that. But if you're going to a laundromat and you've got this bag and you toss it over your shoulder, that's what I heard. They threw me away like a diaper in a laundry bag, okay? They threw me away like a diaper in a laundry bag. And I'm like, what the hell does that mean? So I started to focus on that and I was immediately drawn in a completely different direction. So I'm gonna start with that direction. See, I had no idea which way to start this video because there's a lot of different things that go into one making of this young man, okay, who was also known as Allan Yu. Okay, so it's YuMengLong, and then Allan Yu is another way that they present his name, at least publicly. This is what I've seen. So he was born on June 15th of 1988 in China at 12 p.m. I cannot pronounce the name of the city, so I'm not even gonna try. And that makes him a Gemini sun, Cancer moon. That's a lovely combination. When I looked at his picture, he seemed very sweet and luminescent in appearance and pristine. The look is pristine. It's a beautiful face, almost like a canvas you could paint on. I love the way the entertainers look in China. They look beautiful, like just like porcelain beautiful. It's a really lovely look in a lot of the things that I saw. He had that look of just untarnished. And when I look at him, I saw Virgo rising, and he has a Virgo rising. So that made sense to me because, again, Virgo rising is the one sign that comes in with a reserve that is very palpable, as in they're conscientious about what they do and what they won't do. and they look like Virgo risings. So they look very well put together. They look beautiful. They're impeccable in their appearance. So he is a sun, moon, Cancer with a Virgo rising. That's actually really well-rounded. It gives the sun and the rising the intellect, and it gives the moon the emotional character with which to express the intellect or the perception of intellect. He had Venus in Gemini retrograde. That's an interesting aspect. He also had Mars in Pisces, okay? Jupiter in Taurus, Saturn retrograde, Uranus retrograde, and Neptune retrograde. Saturn and Uranus are in Sagittarius. Neptune is in Capricorn, and it's all placed in the 4th house. So it's kind of interesting because he had a tremendous amount of retrograde planets. He also had Pluto retrograde in Scorpio, and that's probably what was being activated at the time of his death. He also has his Mars in Pisces conjunct the North Node in Pisces. All of these things were activated by the eclipses that started in March of 2025 and finished in September of 2025. Okay, so they were all on degrees. We had I had to write it down because it went right out of my head. We had the last eclipse being at 29 degrees of Virgo. Now, what's so interesting is that activates his Saturn at 29, combust Uranus at 29, meaning on top of each other, 29 degrees of Sagittarius being activated by that eclipse, all right? So we have that eclipse, we have the Pisces eclipse and the prior Virgo eclipse. We had a series that literally bore down on his chart. Now that can go good or bad. I've seen eclipses take people out and push people up. But this was interesting. So I'm looking at it, I'm looking at his chart. Saturn is in the 4th house, very difficult. Uranus in the 4th house, very difficult. Neptune out of sign in the 4th house. Now, Neptune in the 4th house always brings about confusion about where one came from, the mother's ancestry, and who you are as a person. You have to use your intuitive abilities to figure out exactly what's going on in the home. Now, with Saturn there, the karma is deep. It's retrograde, the father's removed, period, the father's removed. Whether he is there physically, he could be something like a doctor who can't give emotional clarity, but the father is removed. It could be drug addiction. It could be literally the mother does not know who the father is. And any subsequent father figures will also be removed. They will be there and then removed. So the individual born with the Saturn, especially in Sagittarius, is trying to find out the purpose of life for himself. Now, his chart with his Gemini stellium, okay, so he's got Sun, Mercury, and Venus in Gemini. This is a very intelligent young man. His sun and moon all up at the top of his chart. This is public adoration, a connection to the public in the 9th house, in the 10th house. Here's the thing I got immediately. Skip all of that aside. I was immediately shown that this young man came through a funnel, okay, through a funnel, and was purposely elevated into a position in society. It is just wild, the shit that I got. Like, it just bombarded me. And I'm like, who are we talking about? This was a kid. This is basically a kid. He hadn't even hit 40 yet. So this young man was born to a woman who was impregnated purposely by a man in a higher position in society, government, period. Okay? So this woman, no matter who she thinks is the father of her son, the actual biological father of her son, so person that impregnated her, was some sort of connection to the government in China. Now, this could be against her knowledge, like somebody set her up, as in met her in a circumstance and dated her without telling her who they really were. And I actually think that that's part of what happened. I don't think she found out who his biological father was herself, and I'm talking background history, acknowledgement. I don't think she found that out until way after this kid was born. He was systematically placed into the uterus of his mother however you want to word that. I don't know if this is like we got too drunk one night and I had sex with a stranger, or I was dating this guy for 6 months and I got pregnant. Very common story, but it was set up purposely. Now, I don't believe she knew this at the time. I do believe that she herself, on an energy level, her appearance, the way that she viewed the world, and the belief system that she came into this world with. So she had been monitored prior to getting pregnant. So what seems like an accident and, oh my God, what do I do? Do I keep the baby? Do I give the baby up? Was positioned perfectly into society. That's the first thing. That's the very first thing. I don't know who her family is biologically or anything really about that, but I can tell you the actual biological father is not who everybody thinks it is. It's not who everybody thinks. And I do believe there were other father figures that were around this young man as he was being raised, which is wonderful, and how he was guided into the career that he was in. His mother was guided because she had aspirations in the same venue that this child would have, and giving her purpose frequency-wise would allow her to facilitate this child's dreams, thinking it was just this child's dreams, while people, monitoring spirits in human form, if you want to word it that way, kept an eye on this kid in order to step in during circumstances and introduce themselves and harness that energy. So I'm going all over the place. I'm going like, this is a big astral chess game that I'm watching happen and play out. And the combination of these two people, their looks, and the father figure is exactly, I'm pretty sure I'm talking about DNA though, so I don't know how that works on an astral level, what kind of DNA they're looking for and why they're looking for it, like what specifically to breed with are they looking for, but this is the direction that my thinking's going in, okay? It's really going in that direction. And I'll tell you another thing, as much as this has looked like or been spoken about as a ritual, I think his passing was unintentional, meaning it got out of hand. And I understand ritual, but his passing was not beneficial for them, and it actually triggers something else. So they're not going to get away with it, very interestingly. I don't know that in this life on this planet that anybody's actually going to pay the piper for what they've done. I don't actually believe that. And yeah. So when I'm looking at the chart, I'm noticing that all these retrograde planets are in his chart specifically to guide him to clear the pathway to release the soul from the binding that has happened in the past 5 lifetimes. This soul, his soul, has been tracked through lifetime after lifetime in order to bind it, savagely enslave it, and control it for the players that cannot, now I want you to hear this because this was so weird. The players in this world that cannot elevate to a different dimension once their body passes. They go to, and this is how I heard it. I've never heard this before. So these people that planned this birth and monitored this young man throughout his life, like they pop up out of nowhere. Could be a lady at the grocery store and she is like positioned as your friend, but she's an information gatherer. Like, it's weird. It's very weird that they do this, but they did this because, okay, the people that do this, when they retire on a physical level, when they leave their physical bodies, I heard the words, they go to a battery graveyard. So their battery is shut down and they need his energy. So they pull him back into this frequency, Earth, where they cannot get out of. Now, they may be able to go up like 3 dimensions or down 3 dimensions or sideways because it's vast and it's like a vascular system. It goes all over the place and it just moves in and out so differently than what we're taught. They can go to certain levels, but they're not allowed to go above or beyond these particular levels. So this young man was housed in that train of thought after he passed out of the last life. They gave him 20/20 hindsight in this life. Now, obviously, when you're a kid and you're born, you just don't even think about shit like that, even if you are someone who is supposed to fight establishment or become a general or whatever it is in this life, right? And I use the word general because immediately when speaking about his father figure, now I'm going to say something ridiculous here, but just go with me. So the father that gave his sperm to this child's DNA, okay, Allan Yu as we're saying it, or YuMengLong as it's pronounced in his language, this father was a double government agent. Now, so that is weird in and of itself. Double government agent. I'm going to leave it at that till the end because I think his death is related to that and not perversion on a demonic level, which is how it's kind of coming through in my head. But it is, but it isn't. So there's a logistics to what went on, and he wasn't actually supposed to pass. Now, it ended up being like that because as the energy, you get 4 more people in a room and the energy accumulates, right? You get 4 more people in a room and the energy accumulates, it raises or it thickens. And as it thickens, the mindset continues to kind of move in on that energy frequency. Now, so the day that he went to the dinner party, I see him talking to a female and he's kind of laughing. And as I see that image, I go immediately to when he was exiled in the industry. Like, I don't know why. I'm on this train of thought and I'm immediately going over here to this train of thought. I go over here to when they kind of shunned him and tried to take him down reputation-wise, which is actually what they do. Just think of any celebrity in any country, you know, when there's a huge big scandal, going all the way back to the 1900s. Just look it up and see. So they tried to take him down. And it is said that when he came back from this 3-year time frame of teaching countryside at a kid's school, and I'm thinking to myself, wait, why are you doing that for? And then people came back and they described online saying he was so thin, he was so gaunt, he looked different, he had this whole other different feel to his energy. Like, he didn't look like he was eating a lot. All of those combination of things, right? Like, how was he eating? Why was he not healthy looking? He was a celebrity. How did he not have money, etc., etc.? Well, what was so interesting about that is I asked, why are you teaching at a school? Like, did you want to be a teacher? I'm just asking the energy. I don't really know where it's coming from because it jolts me from one way of thinking right over here to another way. So it's like you're walking down a road and suddenly a brick wall drops. I'm speaking energetically and I'm thrown down this path. So now I got to walk right, not straight, and not left and not backwards. So I'm asking, why are you teaching kids in a school? And okay, that's what they said he was doing. That's not what he was doing, okay? That's not what he was doing. What 真心希望你们能真正强大起来，不是靠武力，不是靠恐惧，而是靠自由与健康的社会。真正的强盛是让人民敢说真话，敢选择，敢有希望。不健康的社会是丛林法则，强者吞噬，弱者沉默取代真相。但我们不是动物，人类不该永远活在苦难里，对吧？愿你们有一天能从恐惧中醒来，能在黑暗里找到那盏属于人性的灯。那时我们会再一次以人类的身份相见。来自一位台湾人，我叫 Angel。What he was doing was being in that environment and being redirected to think or reprogrammed to think in a particular way. Almost like a mental hostage taking. I have to think this way because you want me to think this way. And if I don't think this way, I'm going to get my ass kicked. He saw a lot of things that happened and he was given insight . And this is frequency. I'm shown water, currency and shocks through water on my fingertips. Now, I don't know if they were reading his energy or doing something with his energy or what the hell that is, but I actually got that image. So things on his fingertips, like electrodes or whatever they're called, water, conduction water, electrical water, and like bathtub water, body shock, but I can't see his body in the bathtub. So then I ask, what happened? Didn't you eat? Like, I'm just, this is how it goes in my head. I'm just asking. I'm like, what happened? Why was he so thin? Was he anxiety ridden? Because sometimes anxiety can also have that effect. Like, you don't want to eat, you don't want to do something. It can be very difficult for people, right? I'm asking why? Because I know what they're feeding me. And that's what I heard. Because I know what they're feeding me. And the word that I wrote down on my paper right here, this word, you can't even see it. Okay, this word, human consumption, the word for that begins with a C. That's the word I wrote down. He stopped eating because he was aware of what the food was. He was aware. He stopped eating because he was aware of it. I started to write this down and I'm like, okay, was that in a general sense? Like, you know, they make this kind of food from that kind of meat? Or literally, were you being forced? And what I was shown is during that time frame, there were children around, there were circumstances around children, there was all kinds of things focused in that direction, and his purpose there, and I seriously get this, so I'm gonna just say this to you. The kids that he was engaging with, he grew, like, he was kind. He was teaching them, and they would systematically be removed in order to harness his energy, torture him. It almost sounds like they were trying to rebuild him at that time. So he was with kids, but the kids that he was teaching, let's say you're teaching a group of 10 kids. And they tell you, this is gonna be your exile until you do what we say. So you're gonna be residing out here in the middle of nowhere. You're not gonna get your nails done, your hair done, whatever. You're gonna live this life of solitude and you're gonna help these kids out. And then you're gonna come back and you're gonna kiss our ass and we're gonna give you your job back. Along those lines. Well, he befriended these kids and he was around these kids. And then these kids started disappearing. So what we're dealing with is a man that was in the process, a young man, that was in the process of a spiritual war due to the things that he had seen during that exile. Now, when I look at his chart, I tie the time frame to his undoing that happened on September 11th of 2025, and that date is so important. Americans understand what that is because our world changed after that. We know. But in 2015, this young man's life changed because of something that happened during that year. There was some sort of an agreement made on behalf of him without his knowledge, meaning the contract for work that he signed also signed him into different things. So when he became a absolute box office commander at that time, like people wanted to see this entertainer entertain, this is what set his life on a downward spiral, because the energy attached to his vibration through adoration, love, appreciation of his work, and even the people who didn't like him, all of that led to the September 11th death. So now I go all around, I go everywhere with this. So the father, we go back to the father figure. So the father figure being a double agent. So we've heard of people in America being like American and Russian spies and honeypot operations and all kinds of things like that. His father was literally a double spy. And I'm gonna say something else here. The lineage and history of that gene pool was connected to the vibration of taking down other first world countries. So it isn't like a China-Russia thing. That's actually not what it is. I mean, it could be that included. It could be that included. So I go there and I'm like, this is an actor. Like, what does this have to do with anything? So anyway, I go back over here energetically and try to focus on that night. So let's get to what happened on that night. I see him on the phone with a female friend, girl. Could be a girlfriend, could be just a female friend. And he's talking and he's laughing and the face is lighthearted. The face is like happy. It's lighthearted. It's not afraid. And there's a conversation given and it's like, I see something to do with we have a platform to give you. We have a platform was the word. And I don't know if that means something else or what the heck that means. But we have a platform. We have a platform. So I kind of feel like they were going to be developing some kind of technology or game system or video game or platform computer using his essence, his personality, his persona, his name, something along these lines. And that was what the conversation was going to be about, is this platform. However, he kind of knew he was, this young man was very psychic. You cannot be born a Virgo rising and not be psychic. Very, very psychic. Intuitive, understanding of it. And I will tell you, the chart logs right into past lives with him where he was also under binding and bondage in the same scenario. And as I said, these people who bind and funnel celebrities into public puppets is the word I'm going to use, because if you focus on entertainment, whether it be music, acting, any kind of gardening, public gardeners, public chefs, whatever it is that your taste is, when you focus on that, you really stay distracted from the political happenings around you. But more importantly, you stay energetically uninformed to the spiritual war, which is really what we're talking about. We're talking about a fight for humanity and a fight for your soul to recognize your power. And I'm talking as an individual, not an entertainer. This young man was put in that position in order to, like happy juice. He's happy juice. He's good to look at. It's entertaining. We want to know what happens with him. We connect energetically over here.